Hi, I'm Tiffany Burnette. I'm going to share with you what Dr. Tressie Mcmillan Cottom's essay, Dying to Be Competent, has to say about oppression, marginalization, and structural inequalities when it comes to reproductive health for Black women in the United States. Dr. Cottom shares a sociological perspective that it is inevitable that Black women will continue to be rendered an incompetent consumer in the United States political economy. She submits that inequality and oppressive systems are created through social and mental constructs that keep them incompetent. Her essay shares the opinion that these are necessary for bureaucracy in global capitalism with neoliberal ideologies and technological change. Dr. Cottom asserts that notions such as promises by and reliance on organizations we trust to allocate the resources that govern our human rights keep us thinking we are the ones in control. But in reality, we are not offered sufficient ways to enact competency. She underscores this perspective using her experience as a Black pregnant woman. As she puts it, pregnancy is not just resistant to the dictates of global capitalism, it is hell on competency. The CDC data says that Black and Indigenous women and their babies die more often than other ethnicities. With a human responsibility to recognize and fix these negative health outcomes, research and efforts have been made to understand and to close the gap. However, we still don't have an answer as to why these preventable deaths aren't prevented. Dr. Cottom says that there is something to be said about structural oppression, but there is also something to be said about the healthcare system's assumptions regarding competency when it comes to the delivery of care that is killing Black women. When her baby died, Dr. Cottom and her baby became statistics. Dr. Cottom suspects that the odds were against them because the healthcare system, like all bureaucracies in America, depend on consumer competence. All decisions in a capitalist system have attached rules to properly function and are based on assumptions. Dr. Cottom felt that even though everything about her screamed her competence, nothing could shut down what her Blackness screams. She believes that the assumptions heard her Blackness scream that she cannot express herself in a way that the context would prompt people with power to respond to her as an agentic being. To explore this, Dr. Cottom visits three constructs: diffusion of status characteristics, controlling images, and the matrix of domination. Understanding it through these concepts, Dr. Cottom believes that Black women in particular are structurally incompetent and therefore at the losing end of the rope. She states the grotesque accumulation of capital in the West is predicated on Black women's structural incompetence. She predicts that this is how Black women see the future, on the receiving end of the most explicit form of marginalized oppression. To be, in her words, filtered and churned through assumptions of incompetence. Even as they continue trying to be agentic beings and strong for themselves, Black women's structural incompetence will continue to serve others' needs, benefiting those in power. Those in power can afford to blame their own incompetence on an incompetent consumer by saying, "You should have known. You should have told us." This is exactly what Dr. Cottom experienced during her painful and misdiagnosed labor and when her baby died. She states that with these gears in motion, the pipe dream of competency is a trap set in oppressive regimes for Black women. They can never be competent enough to save their own life.